Hello everyone, I'm Cole from the Kingdom. I'm joined here with Ghil Dirthalen. You might recognize her from her channel called Ghil Dirthalen.
This is true.
How are you doing today?
I'm very well. How are you?
I'm doing great. All right. Uh, so let me start. When how long have you had your channel? When did you start making videos like this?
Oh God, that's a good question. Let's see. When was Anthem announced? Because that was about 6 months after I started the channel. So that would have been around. See, I'm getting to that point in my life when the years start blending together. So it's 2019, so like 2017, I believe, 2016 maybe,
Right.
around there. Yeah.
I know it was. I just know it was after Trespasser because you named your channel after uh,
Yes.
the archivist from the library.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember it by my schooling because I started it when I was starting my practicum. We briefly talked about this at the beginning, but I am a trained therapist, and what you have to do is you do a lot of schooling, and then you do a year where you work as a trainee therapist. And one of the reasons I started the channel was because I didn't have any more homework to do, so I would go home and just kind of sit there and go, "What do I do with my life?" This is the first time I have not had homework in however many years I've been alive and in school. So I just didn't know what to do with myself, and here I am. So,
Well, what made you decide to make Dragon Age videos specifically?
um, I think if I'm going to be very, very honest with myself and to give you the hot take, because I think the story of how I got really into Dragon Age is also deeply revolved around in my schooling as a therapist, to be honest. Because when you're starting practicum, and it's essentially like an internship, but
Right.
like you are working as a therapist, and for the most part, like there's at least where I was working, there wasn't the best supervision, so it was very on my own, and I just felt very helpless and didn't really know what to do a lot of the time. But at the same time, I would go home. Dragon Age gave me the sense of like mastery, and like I knew what was going on, and I understood it pretty well because I had just been so absorbed in it in the past couple of years. So I was like, well, if I feel helpless at work, I at least want to come home and feel like I'm good at something. So I kind of just started doing Dragon Age videos doing that. So
Yeah, I get that. I get that.
Mhm.
So, how long had you been playing Dragon Age by that point?
Really not that long. I started. So do you also want my story on how I got into Dragon Age? Because
Yeah,
that's
yeah, sure.
oh. Right when I started my master's program, I essentially graduated college, and in that one summer, I got married, I got a dog, I moved across many, many states, and did a whole bunch of other things. So it was
Busy
a
year.
lot of stuff going off at once. What'd you say?
I said busy year.
Yeah, it was a busy year, and that was only like 3 months of my
Oh
life.
my God.
That's small window, and so I'm in a place where I know absolutely no one, other than my husband and then a very very small puppy, and I didn't really know what to do with myself, and I had just gotten a new computer, so my husband and I could play games together. And I was trying to look for games that I wanted to play. And at the time, I had already played Mass Effect. I should say this is about 2014. So Inquisition had literally just come out. I think
Right.
it was like this is about December. And I was like, well, I need some new games. And because I had liked Mass Effect so much, I had looked up a whole bunch of like alternate cutscenes that I hadn't got through the YouTube channel Fluffy Ninja Llama, I think
Yep.
it is. He uploads a whole bunch of
I
those.
use them a lot.
Oh yeah, they're great. And like I had saw some of the romance cutscenes specifically with Blackwall because Blackwall kind of looked like my husband at the time. So I was like, oh, that's kind of fun. I liked Mass Effect. Maybe I'll try this Dragon Age thing. And then I saw the ones for Solus, and it's. I don't want to say like I thought he was weird looking because he is weird looking, but I thought that there would because I was watching the romance and I saw him break up with Llewellyn, and I was like, oh, no video game's gonna make you break up with someone. That's weird. So I kept trying to find the one where he got back together with Llewellyn, and I couldn't find it. And because the game was so new, I just assumed that it just hadn't been uploaded yet. So what I decided to do was like, oh, I'll just play the series. I'll find it on my own. I want to get a new game anyway. As it turns out, I'd actually gotten Dragon Age Origins for free on like through Origin through this promotion they were doing. So literally January 1st, 2015, my husband was gone from work the entire day and I wasn't in school, so I didn't know what to do with myself. I downloaded the program, played through the mage opening, and I was essentially hooked from there. And I think by February, by the time February ended, I had played through the entire series and was just
Wow.
absolutely smitten by it. So
Wow.
that's my Dragon Age story.
It's a good story. So, you said you played through the Magi Origin. Was there anything particular that like really was there a moment that you got hooked on it?
Yes. So it I know a lot of people say that the Magi or Origin is kind of the boring one, but having played through all of them at this point, I still like have a soft spot for it and I love it so much. So like I don't wait when you play it, it's just I don't know what I was expecting of Dragon Age to be, but it definitely wasn't what I thought it was. So when I'm playing, I was really struggling with the controls because I remember like a pop-up going like, "Welcome to Dragon Age. You probably don't know how to play the game." I'm like, I know how to play video games. I don't need this." So I clicked it out and then cut to me like struggling for the whole entire series because I didn't know what I was doing. But as I'm playing through the harrowing, and I like there's Mouse there, and he's just like, oh, it's like this slimy little guy. I'm like, who cares? He's just a wimpy guy that fails his harrowing. I'll be whatever. And the twist that it turns out that he was the actual harrowing, the demon. It just was like this. Oh, this game is going to be one of those where I don't actually expect what's going on. Like I had really assumed it was going to go one direction, and that happens so often in video games. I find where like you can kind of get what the twist is going to be, and
Yeah.
like I thought I had, but I actually hadn't, and that generally surprised me. And like so far, the whole series has been like little moments of that where I think something's going to happen and then it doesn't, and that's I think one of the more I don't know, positive memories of the game in my mind was just that first moment of like that's zooming out on your character as he rises away into like being a pride demon. I'm going, whoa! My mind was blasted. So
Well, yeah, BioWare has always been great with stuff like that, just off the beaten path storytelling, which
mhm.
is such a rare thing in games these days. I think that's a lot of the reason I like Dragon Age and Mass Effect too.
Yeah.
So, outside of BioWare, because I know you mentioned you like Mass Effect, what are
Mhm.
some other games that you really enjoy?
Oh gosh. I was I in my childhood, I have a very strong fondness for Final Fantasy games, even though I really only played through Final Fantasy Tactics and Final Fantasy X. I think as an adult now, I look at them fondly, even though I know that specifically Final Fantasy X has some flaws, um, especially in the voice acting. So, oh boy, that game. I still love Final Fantasy Tactics so much. I love tactic games, even though I don't get to play them that very much often because they don't. There's not that many on PC right now.
Right.
Been loving. I love Divinity. That's more of a recent one. I like Stardew games. I had this moment in college where like all I had was a crappy laptop and all my friends had crappy laptops. So and Minecraft had just come out. Like we got it for free because it was the alpha like had just
Right.
come out. Like we played through Minecraft all throughout college. And it was the really great memories of that was like playing with friends on this huge giant server and like because it was essentially our entire friend group would play Minecraft. We just have so many stories based off of that. So even though I don't play anymore and like I haven't even thought about the game since I left college, like there's a lot of fond memories in that game.
Yeah, I love. I think everyone has a game like that.
Hmm.
For me, it was Halo 3 back in the
Hmm.
day. That was a long time ago. See, in my head, it was like last year,
Yeah, I
but
get that.
it's more than 10 years ago. Uh, the older I get, the older I feel. Is that normal?
Well, I would hope so.
All right.
No, I totally get like I keep forgetting that like it honestly still feels like I just moved to this state when I've been here for five
Yeah.
years. I have been here longer than I was ever at my college, but college just felt so long.
Yeah. Yeah.
It it messes with my mind a little bit. Like I'm almost 30 and I really don't feel like that. And it's kind of weird sometimes when like I go to a bar or something and they don't card me and I'm like, wait, do I look old?
Yeah,
Please card me.
I definitely get moments like that where time is just moving way too fast. I can't keep up.
Hmm. Oh yeah. Oh
So,
yeah. Have you gotten to that stage? I don't know how old are you? I forget, but do you ever get that stage where people ask you your age and you're like, "Oh, oh, oh God, I'm what's the year?"
yeah, yep, I have that all the time.
God.
I have to think about it. All right, so right, all right. I have a lot of moments like that.
Mhm.
So, coming back to Dragon Age, do you? I know this is a heavy question. Do you
Mhm.
have a favorite romance from each game?
Oh yeah. I guess like I like romances that have maybe like something that I particularly like and my own personal flavor, but then also have a big to do with the story.
Right,
So like for Dragon Age Origins, that's Alistair,
of course.
and then for Inquisition, it's Solus. Duh. I think I had the hardest time with Dragon Age 2 because I was kind of going for Anders or Fenris. I overall go with Fenris because I something about the Anders romance creeps me out a little bit.
Yeah, I get that too. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, it like I tried it with a male and a female, and with the male hawk, I there's like a pushiness there. I guess it's there in the female too, but there's like a pushiness there that I'm just a little bit uncomfortable with. And with the whole terrorist thing, it's kind of like hard to justify like still being in a like me as a person. If my boyfriend, who I've been with like 10 years, well, Michael, I've been with him for 10 years, if he blows up a building, like I can't say I'm
Yeah.
gonna be in a relationship with him that much longer. So it's at that like playing the game. I'm like, what's the point of romancing Andrews? Because I'm gonna break up with him anyway. Might as well go with Fenris then. So
Yeah.
like, I like Fenris well enough, but I feel like if there was a better option in Dragon Age 2, I would have gone for it. So
Would you have romanced Varric if the game had let you?
I don't know. See, I know this is weird, but especially since romancing Solus, but I feel like I'm very sensitive to like age gaps, which maybe that's another thing I didn't like Anders for in playing. And like the thing with the Solus romance is like I played like an older Inquisitor, so it felt like a more experienced Inquisitor with like someone has ancient experience felt a little bit better than say like a Varric who's probably in his mid 30s versus a Hawk that's in like their mid 20s. Like that is so developmentally different that I felt I would feel weird about that.
Someone can fact check me on this, but I thought Varric was like early to mid 20s in Act 1 and Hawk was 19 or 20 in Act 1.
I thought Hawk
Hawk
was
was 19 in the prologue, I think.
I thought it was Bethany and Carver were 19 in the prologue, and then Hawk was in the 20s
I
area,
thought they
like
were
early
well
20s,
Hawk is only 1 year older than them. And
something like that.
I thought they were 18. I don't know, it's a whole thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Well, I like I honestly don't even know how old Varric is at the top of my head, but he feels older to me. Like he feels like he's like I don't know, close to 30, and like he's been doing this a while. Maybe I'm wrong, but like that's kind of the impression I would get. And there's also like this aloofness. Like to me, Varric doesn't open up very well, but he's friends with people. He just guards his secrets very close. Like
Yeah.
a Hawk. Hawk never actually really finds out about Bianca of all people. So, I think that I would definitely have a save file where if it were available, I would romance a Varric, but I don't know, that wouldn't be my choice.
Well, speaking of, characters like Varric and the twins, do you have a favorite companion from each game?
Yes. Overall, the entire series, I would burn down the world of Thetis for Aveline.
Really?
I love Aveline so much. Especially the first time I played, there was just something so endearingly awkward about her and like very relatable. And I was like, oh man, I love this one. Cause like what cemented my love for Aveline was the moment when your mom dies and she like comes in to because I messed up my romance in the first game, so
Mm.
Aveline came in to say the Fenrir. When he comes in and she says something on the lines of like, "Hey, if you need to talk, I'm here." And then like when you go actually talk to her, she gives this whole story that like it starts out really messy and she just really bumbling it about like she's talking about herself rather than Hawk, and at the very end it's a very nice story about her father and her dealing with
Yeah.
her father's death and saying like I have been what you're going through and I'm not very good at this, but I do want to help you. Just let me know on your terms. And I thought that was the perfect response,
Yeah. That
even though she bumbled through it. And I love her ever since.
yeah, thinking back on it, that's definitely the moment that really sold me on Aveline.
Hmm.
And to this day, one of the things that stands out in my head, not about that story, but it's Isabella's description of Aveline, that she is a woman-shaped battering ram.
And I strive to be a woman-shaped battering ram. So you know what? I am all for it.
Okay. All right. So back to your channel.
Mhm.
By this point, I have no idea how many videos you've made, but it's a lot.
I
Do
could
you,
look if you're curious.
no, it's okay. Do you have a favorite video that you've ever made?
Ooh.
Because I know I have a few that stand out.
Um,
Like either one that was like a lot of fun to work on, or one you're just really proud of.
there's one in the making now that I think is going to turn out well. I'm trying to. So this video is supposed to come out on Valentine's Day, but just like my own incompetence, I've just been really late on it. Because like I essentially wrote a script and tossed it. But the one I'm working on now, I think is a lot better. The reason I like this video that's not even out yet, is because I got a friend of mine, Andrastini, to do some animations for it, and I think it's going to look really cool. So I'm pretty excited about that.
I'm excited now
Uh,
too.
yeah, she does wonderful work. Go check out her channel, Andrastini on YouTube, and check her out on Twitter. Go download her. She does like a lot of. I'm sorry, and this is just the
Oh, go
advertisement
ahead.
for
Go
it.
ahead.
She does a lot of really good, specifically Alistair Romance mods. That she is a wizard with Origins. Anyway, for videos that are actually out, I'm still kind of fond of the Solus video just because of the memory of making it. Because like I mentioned in the video, it was right when the eclipse in America happened. And in that time of my life, I had actually just also graduated from my master's program, and so there was like this whirlwind moment where I had to rush to finish the video so I could graduate, and then my husband and I went to go travel into like the line of the eclipse so we could go watch it. So like that video and the eclipse and like that great vacation was kind of linked in my mind, and then I also just like Solus, and it was a
Yeah.
very well received video. So, and I did like the editing on it. So I have very fond memories of that one.
Right.
Um, I'm also fond of like I I also kind of like going over like the crappy Dragon Age installments, like the IDW comics and
Yeah.
like the Flash games, because I just there's something if one of those comes out and I'm really reaming on it, just everyone should know that like I probably had a really tough month that week and I just needed to like crap on something.
Okay.
I just need to rip something to shreds to make me feel better. A lot of that happens. Um,
All right then.
yeah.
So, last question: Are there what are some things people can look forward to in the future for your channel?
Um, well, I next week should be coming out. I am going to finish up the very last of what I've called the Book Emporium. So when that episode comes out, I will have officially gone over all of the Dragon Age novels, summaries, and then discussions on them, and that has been such a huge undertaking. I am so glad for it to be over.
Yeah, I can't imagine how much time that must have taken.
Oh, so much. Like it's definitely like kind of ruined the video schedule a bit because it's been a lot more time consuming than I thought it would be. So like I was very proud about my consistency, and then the Book Emporium thing started happening and just my video consistency was like so when that's finished, I think everything's going to even out and we're going to go back to normal. Um that's at this point like I'm just so focused on finishing that series that like everything else kind of got on the back burners. So when
Right.
that's finished, I'm going to try to do way more codex entries because I miss doing that. Um, and that's about it. I've been doing a lot of like streaming on my side channel, Codex Added with Jordan. I just started. Well, I guess I don't know when this episode is going to come out, so I don't know how far I'll
I'm gonna
be.
I'm gonna push it
Huh?
out as fast as I can
Well, I
because we're
mean,
talking
I've been.
about current stuff. So
Oh, that's fair. Yeah. I've been streaming Dragon Age Origins, and I'm just started Awakening, so I'll be done with that soon, and then we get to Dragon Age 2. I don't know. It's fun to like stream my canon playthrough. I think that's kind of fun to do.
yeah.
And then we're also playing Anthem, so that's been something.
Well, all right. So thank you for joining me.
Well, thank you.
If you guys want to check out her channel, it's going to be in the description. Ghil Dirthalen. So I guess that's it for now, guys. I'll see you later.
Goodbye. I don't know what to
All
say.
right. That went well, I think.